The last place you would expect to find these nearly 70-year-old trains from Tokyo is in Argentina. Yet, here's where these trains have come to find a home after a long service life in Tokyo. How did this come to be? Well, you'll just have to watch on and see as we greet you good afternoon here today from Villa Crespo in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Home to Movie Star Arena, Atlanta Athletic Club, beautiful cafeterias and panasterias, and even more. Villa Crespo is a beautiful neighborhood that is pretty and home to more than 80,000 people today. Here, we start our journey on Avenida Corrientes, the street that never sleeps and one of the most famous streets in all of Argentina. Right here, we can descend just underground into Dorrego to find ourselves at the station. Most metro stations here in Buenos Aires are very simplistic for the most part, with all of them being almost entirely underground, with the exception of Constitucion kind of having a little peek at the sunlight which can shine through, but still being under the ground itself and below street level entirely. Here inside of Dorrego, there's not that much to see. It's just a basic platform for waiting and some guardrails in between the two tracks. As for the payment and the fare, one ride on SUBTE costs 125 Argentine pesos. One can pay for this with a SUBTE card, the national transit card functioning across all of Argentina, or their own credit or debit card with the balance automatically handled at tap. Keep in mind that using the latter method will not work at every single turnstile, and at many of the smaller stations, only one turnstile has it. Once we are inside, we can stay on the platform. There are maps and simple guides, as well as a headway demonstrating when the next train will come. Soon enough, our train arrives and we can get on inside. Inside of here, we see a relic of the past, and that is train seats that are essentially couches. These trains themselves are both relics from another era and another part of the world, with them having been put in service initially in January of 1954 in Tokyo, Japan. So as we go forward, let's go back and see just what that history is. Going all the way back to 1953, the Japanese operator TRTA was finalizing the opening of the brand new Marunouchi line. This route would take commuters from western Tokyo suburbs into the big city for work and out back home, and these trains would go on to serve this line for 42 years, before the Marunouchi line would eventually get new trains in 1996. Well, what would happen to go on to serve these trains? They were getting very old, already at 32 years old, but they would be marketed out, and luckily there was a prospective buyer an ocean over. In the 1990s, the city of Buenos Aires was looking for new metro cars for the busy Line B. This is because the line became extremely crowded and well used as it sat just below Avenida Corrientes. In addition to that, the line also connects directly with the Urquiza line, a line which we'll explore in a future video that is one of Buenos Aires' most popular and unique commuter routes, taking passengers from Pilar and El Conurbano all the way into Villa Urquiza in the city of Buenos Aires. Yet, with all of this popularity, the B line has also had a lot of problems due to the fact that it was using multiple different types of rolling stock, and this is problematic for many reasons, one of the main ones being maintenance costs stacking up, which can be very problematic in a country like Argentina where there's not as much resources to do this maintenance with. The city wanted to unify the line for use of only one type of train, and this was a perfect opportunity for them to do so, and therefore they would take advantage of it. And these trains would arrive into La Ciudad de la Furia in 1996, and they were loaded onto the tracks for service. For 17 years, these Eidon trains were the only trains that one would see coursing through the veins of the B line, and they would work for a while, soon becoming some of the oldest trains in the world operating. But there would need to be a contingency plan in place. However, before we explore that, let's explore these historic trains themselves. All cars are walked through, although a bit weirdly, and the train has handles and plush seats. The seats are dirty but extremely soft. The windows are extremely clear for their age. Some of them even retain remnants from their times in Japan, such as these characters right here, which I believe means this on screen, but if you speak Japanese and I am wrong, please correct me in the comments below. Now, one of the unique things about these windows is that they slide down, unlike the other trains now running on this line as part of the contingency plan. And while, yes, these were specifically purchased to unify the line, 17 years later, they would finally need to put in some other trains. Buenos Aires in 2009 would purchase retired 5000 series trains from the Metro in Madrid. Now, these trains would not be used until 2013, but after 4 years of sitting vacant in Buenos Aires, they started usage and they would not be used for long. Just 3 years later, in late 2016, they'd be taken out for a little while for some inspection and fixing up. In 2017, they would return, but only for less than a year, as there was discovery of asbestos in some of the electrical systems of the trains, significant enough to get all of them taken off. This, despite being problematic, would not be the final time that this particular line got trains from Madrid. See, in 2013, the government would purchase 73 cars that were intended to completely replace the Idon cars, and these would also come from the Madrid Metro, in this case, the 6000 CAF series. As in 2013, the government would purchase 73 6000 series CAF cars from the Madrid Metro to once again try to completely replace the Idon cars. Now, the problem with these trains is that they required overhead wires, and this would make the Madrileño trains yet another bad investment for Buenos Aires, as it would result in the city either needing to install overhead catenary wires on tracks that already had perfectly functioning third rails, or somehow modify the trains to work with the third rails. Ultimately, there are now catenary wires and third rails on this track. But now, speeding over to today, these Idon trains are the oldest remaining trains in consistent operation globally. And they carry thousands just meters below one of the most popular streets in all of Latin America. Right now, we are at Uruguay, just a stop away from the landmark Obelisco at the intersection of 9 de Julio, the day that I'm actually recording this video, and Corrientes. But now, after a while, we are already arriving in our final destination, and that is Carlos Pellegrini, the station that is just below El Obelisco and the widest street in the world. And this station is one of the bigger stations of the entirety of the metro, featuring multiple station connections inside of it. Regardless, that is all of the time we have for today, so if you want to watch a video about a metro in Boston that also uses both overhead wires and third rails, you can click here. However, if you want to watch another problematic metro, one that is also in Boston, you can click here. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week.